What up, everybody? Welcome to the Savage Land. And today we got something special for you guys. We got a top 20 of 2022. This is action figures all the way across the board, whether it's Marvel Legends, MAFEX, Storm Collectibles, any high end. The way I graded these figures, it comes on pricing, paint, sculpt, playability. And when I do it, it no difference from whether it's high end or cheap. If it's meant to be there, it's meant to be there. And it also comes on availability too. So I don't have any HasLabs in here. I don't have any G.I. Joe post-cons or has-cons or anything like that because everybody can't get to that. Now I will say this, every figure on here deserves to be on here, whether you like it one way or not, or if you like the chronological order. You cannot argue that these 20 figures are actually good figures, and if not with your liking or agreeing, it is close to the way it should go. So I'm not gonna waste your time anymore. Let's jump right into it.
All right, let's get this thing kicked off. And at number 20, we have Joker Dragon from McFarlane Toys. It comes out of the Dark Knight's metal comic book, a whole bunch of crazy stuff I'm not interested in, which is Batman mixed up with Joker. But out of that crazy wild mashup of a comic book, it produces a few jewels. It has a bendy wire in the tail, and just look at the paint, look at the sculpt. Like, they did a great job with it. Like, it's just fun. It's fun to look at, and it's fun just to sit up on the shelf. And like I said, I'm really not into Dark Knight's metal, but if somebody puts this on their top 10 or top 20, I cannot knock you. Coming in at number 20, Joker Dragon from McFarlane Toys. All right, coming in at number 19, we have Jurassic World Dominion, I believe, line. It's not the line that came out last year for the 6-inch. They moved back to a 3 3/4 inch as their main focus. But this is a T-Rex from that line. I've always been a sucker for dinosaurs, and I'm not like I'm such a huge Jurassic Park fan, even though I've seen the movie when it first came out in 1993, and it's still a phenomenon to this day. But Mattel makes some great dinosaurs, and for once, in the first time, you have almost a fully articulated T-Rex, which he can move his joints at his knees, and he has a hinge at the foot. For the most part, whenever Mattel made a T-Rex, all of this was one piece. You really couldn't get busy with it like that. Now, this thing has a lot of great detail. As you can see inside of the mouth here. Like, it's all painted up. The tongue is like a rubbery filled-in. Articulated jaw, of course. He has articulation at the neck here, which it has several joints. The only part that I didn't like is there's this piece right here. Now, this piece is kind of rubbery. The rest of it is like a hard plastic, almost like a vinyl, and I don't like that. I wish most of the dinosaur was rubbery, like this piece on his neck, which helps him articulate. He has a bendy wire in the tail, but it's just at the end. But overall, one of their best T-Rex they put out, if not the best. Like I said, for 50 bucks, if you at Target, maybe you got a couple of discounts on there, you can get them down to 30. I think I paid 30 for this guy, and at $30, he's well worth it. Great figure. Number 19, Mattel T-Rex from Jurassic World. Number 18 on my top 20 action figures of 2022 is Piranha's Head from the Power Rangers line from Hasbro. They always put a lot of love into these figures. I can't never really knock the Power Rangers line. Every year they have something that I'm willing to purchase. If not a couple of figures I'm willing to purchase. I won't say several because all the key players I pretty much got, but I'm gonna tell you like this, I really wasn't into Power Rangers. I was already a 12, 13-year-old kid by the time that came out. I thought the show was cheesy. But if an action figure line does so well that it makes me want to buy a figure, and possibly I wanted a second one of this figure also, but right now I only just have one. But they're that good. They put so much paint and love into the sculpt, and be honest with you, as far as Hasbro, Marvel Legends is their bottom feeder. you can just look at the colors and see how the greens and the pinks pop off. They put a lot of love into these figures, man, especially into the monster figures now, and then also into the regular Power Ranger figures. Like I said, the Lightning collection all the way around is just a good toy line. And if you're into Power Rangers, it's especially a great treat. Like, look at that. That is just beautiful looking. I mean, that is awesome. It looks amazing through the camera. So number 18 in my line is Piranha's Head from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Lightning collection. All right, coming in at number 17, we have WWE Ultimates from Mattel, Mr. T. And this version of Mr. T is from WrestleMania 1, where he teamed up with Hulk Hogan. A lot of people on that Hulk Hogan saying this is the better out of that series, because it just was those two that came in that series. But this Mr. T is fire. He looks good. His accessories are nice. He comes with a hoodie. He comes with like a little workout bar that you can just kind of bend. And his jewelry looks good. But the most important thing that I like on this man is his ball cap. This thing looks amazing. It looks like how I wear my cap. Doesn't it look good? Look at it from the side. His jewelry looks good. The outfit looks good too. I like him in that red and yellow. But, you know, a lot of times when toy companies try to make baseball caps, they don't turn out so good. I believe John Cena, his figure has like gaps on the side. It looks stupid. And this guy looks good. He's a perfect representation of a black man. His chocolate skin looks beautiful. Mattel did a great job with that. He comes with a couple of extra heads. And to be honest with you, there's a couple of other WWE Ultimates that could have went in this number 17 spot, but sometimes I had to narrow it down to one, and this is the one I gravitated towards. And right now, it's a crime that he's going for 11 bucks. Get your hands on him at Ringside Collectibles. If you can still find him at Target, he's half off there. Matter of fact, I just brought this. This is like my fourth one. I just brought this from Target like a week ago, like for 10 bucks, man. So awesome figure. Number 17 on my list, Mr. T, WrestleMania 1 WWE Ultimates line from Mattel. All right, coming in at number 16 on my top 20 list, we have KINTARO from the Storm Collectibles line. Storm Collectibles, one of my favorite lines besides MAFEX. And then, of course, I still love Hasbro, but G.I. Joe Classified, of course, is my number one line. But this line right here can get quite pricey, but they do give you your money's worth. You can see here he has nice paint on top of his silver shoulder pads. And then, of course, if you dealt with a Storm Collectibles, you know they have that rubbery kind of like chest or stomach piece so they can move. Other than that, he would be a lot farther down, well, a lot further up on my list if his just articulation was a little bit better. Now, don't get it twisted. He has great articulation. To be honest with you, he's just more of a hulking brute. And which will look great on your shelf because his paint job, as far as the tiger stripes and all of that stuff, and then his scope is just amazing. He falls right in line with the other Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat figures. Number 16 on my list is KINTARO from Storm Collectibles. All right. Number 15 on my list is VALAVERSE Infantry Commando. Woo, the controversy on this figure here. Wow, especially with Dorkside Toys. And let me just put in a side note. I had no bad experience with Dorkside Toys. I actually had 5 of these guys ordered through them, but I pulled back the order because I really just didn't have the money to get all 5 or 6 or however many I want. Whatever I get a figure and I really like it, I always get one to keep for myself. And even if I'm army building, like I'll still get the 5 that I'm going to get, but I'll have that one in the cut. But make a long story short, I couldn't afford it, so I cut them off. And then maybe about 3 weeks after that, all this controversy started coming out. Like, oh, they're closing down, like in the beginning of November. But I will tell you this. I ordered a Samurai Leonardo Super 7 from them, which was dirt freaking cheap for like 30 bucks. They sent it like in 2 days. So whoever was on that sinking ship, they were still throwing some Hail Marys out to people, trying to do people right. And I sent them a kind email too. I said, the current situation of your company, I don't know what's going on, you know, blase blase. And they're like, no, you know, they denied it, of course, but they were still professional with it, man, and they sent me my figures. Now, as far as this Alpha Commando here, as far as this Commando here from VALAVERSE, I actually ordered this from VALAVERSE. It still had the dork side boxes, which was cool, but VALAVERSE, regardless of the fact, was going to get this number 15 spot. I like VALAVERSE. Do I like it better than G.I. Joe? No, I do not. You know, I'm on G.I. Joe's side, but I'm very optimistic when it comes to both lines. Reason why I said regardless of the fact, no matter what, VALAVERSE was go at number 15, because they're good figures, but they still don't wow me. Now, their body molds, they don't have really any differential like far as size. Like everybody's pretty much the same size, and I know why they do that, because the cool thing with VALAVERSE is you can mix and match parts. Like I can turn this infantry commando troop, and I believe that's his name, Desert Commando, that's what I like to call him. I can turn him and flip and swap him parts and make me a totally new soldier, which is awesome. And that's kind of like a throwback to what you used to be able to do with G.I. Joes. Not what they intended you to do, but trust me, I seen a lot of G.I. Joes get rebuilt back to mixed and swap parts when I was a kid, and that kind of reminds you of that, man. But VALAVERSE is a solid company. It's gonna be a little up there as far as price, but you do get what your money's worth. They're $31 a figure, and that's what this one costs. And they have stripped down soldiers where you don't have all your gear pack. You can just kind of get plain fatigues with no vest or anything, and those are 21 bucks. But the pack to add everything on is 12, so it still balances back out. But I think it's a dope line. I think the owner is a hard worker. He's trying to make sure, a true hustler always gonna make sure his customers are taken care of, and that's what Bobby Vala is doing. And at number 15 in my spot is the Infantry Commando from VALAVERSE, which is a dope figure. And VALAVERSE is kind of starting this trend where you can have some representation of yourself. You can have an African American head, or you can have a Caucasian head, and it kind of gives you those different skin tones as far as your army builders. So number 15, Infantry Commando, VALAVERSE. All right, at number 14, we're gonna go to SH Figuarts, and this one right here is, I like this guy. Is as soon as I seen his images, it's Dodoria from the Bardock saga, which is Goku's father. Don't know too much about the character. Just seen that Bardock saga myself 3 years ago, which is almost a 25-year-old plus movie, I believe. A lot of that Dragon Ball stuff is old, and they just rehash it out. But this figure is the weirdest, greatest, most articulated figure I've ever came across. Like, he can do leg splits like it ain't no problem. Better than some Spider-Mans from Marvel Legends, okay? But then you flip him to the side, he's about as flat as a dang on penny, man. But when you flip him this way, you see how wide he is? He comes with several different face sculpts. Of course, with SH Figuarts, you're going to get your bells and whistles. When you deal with an SH Figuarts, you're dealing with it on the same level as a MAFEX or Storm Collectible. Import, high-end. And be honest with you, they charge, but they give you what you want. You're going to get a good figure. And I really like this guy. I brought 2 of him. And the only way I can explain the way his body feels is like a river rock. Big and round, and you flip it to the side, and it's very, like, slim. And he's just great shelf present. He looks good. They put a lot of love and care into this guy, man. And at number 14, I'm going with Dodoria, SH Figuarts from the Bardock saga. All right, at number 13 on my top 20 list of 2022, we have NECA's Frankenralph. And what an interesting figure. I might have had some of those mashup turtles from the early 90s. I can almost kind of remember the ones I want, but I don't know if I had those guys. They had so many. It seemed like they had hundreds. But this new updated Frankenralph from NECA kind of mixes the texture that they use for their movie turtles. And they mix them with Universal Monsters, which NECA is also doing that strictly line too. And they just took the two, put them together and made a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful masterpiece. Now, some people got this back in 2021, but I was just able to find this guy randomly on a Target shelf, and I can't even remember when. I think maybe back in March. And he's awesome. He's awesome. If you don't have one of these and you can find it for a decent price, I would pick it up. I mean, there's so much detail in this, so much paint, so much sculpt. I mean, even the little temp gauge here looks like it's fogged up. You know, NECA really did this thing with this. Like, look how much detail. The chains are real, the big blocky feet like Frankenstein. Now, as far as articulation wise, of course with NECA, regardless of the fact whether he was Frankenstein or not, you're not going to get that articulation that you're looking for. But far as shelf presence and far as a beautiful figure, I mean, this is something that you want to have and keep. So number 13, Frankenroute from NECA, Universal Monsters Mashup. Number 12, nobody else but my boy Al Simmons, aka Spawn from McFarlane Toys. This right here is the best looking Spawn that McFarlane has made, and he moves great. Usually time with a Spawn, he's very stiff. This guy, you got, look at that. You got no problem throwing him in a T shape. And it's almost like doing Chinese arithmetic usually to do that with a Spawn figure. His upper chest is real bulk and bigger. His design is very matte black and white, and it's just plain, and I love it. The only thing he's missing is a package of weapons. And I'm tired of this meat skin cape. As soon as this is over with, I'm gonna tear that off and I'm just gonna have him look like a poncho on. But this is a dope Spawn, Commando Spawn. This is the best Spawn I think he has in his line, besides that other one that kind of looks more towards a classic. But if anything, I would pick this. I like how he has the face mask on. And of course with McFarlane, you're always going to have some great articulation, man. I mean, not great articulation. You'll have some great detail and scope. This guy actually has great articulation, but he looks good, man. Same old thing, a meat skin cape, you know, that kind of, you know, hinders him. And I want to get like a fabric wired cape put on him, or like I said, no cape at all and just kind of have him in his suit here. But this guy shows wonders of what McFarlane can do. Now with this countdown, it's a mashup between figures that are cheap and figures that are expensive. When a figure like this beats out a Storm Collectible or an SH Figures Arts, then that company is really doing something. That company is really putting the love, care, and attention to detail of what they want to do. Right. Number 11 on my top 20 list is 20 Years Captain America. What a quintessential Captain America this figure is. I missed out on the 80s cap. 80 years cap, but I did get the 80 years Thor. But back then I just really wasn't thinking about, okay, I want to get me a quintessential Captain America. And I searched and I searched. I even brought that wolf head cap. I found him about 2 or 3 years ago, pretty cheap, and it still just didn't mash out. But this guy right here, he takes the cake. He is your #1 Captain America. The only thing they screwed up on is they gave him the shield with these holes in it. As you can see right here, for the lightning effects. Once you take those out, it's like holy grail Batman, and that's what it is. But look, their marketing team is great. They're putting out another cap who's kind of like a secondary cap, which I'm gonna get him to. He's a nice clean cap, but he has the right shield. So if you want that, you almost kind of got to pick that up. But getting back to this 20 years Marvel Legends Captain America, honoring the original Toy Biz Marvel Legends line, this is where you want to be at right here. This is the guy that you want in your collection. This is a great Marvel Legends. I believe, no, it's not the only Marvel Legends I got on my list, but you know how it is with Marvel Legends. It's hard for them to get a leg up on other toy lines. And I believe just because they mass produce so much, I believe they put out the most material in a year than any other toy line. And this right here, guy right here, you didn't have to do too much. The light blue really pops. He has an alternate head sculpt that looks perfect for a comic Steve Rogers. And like I said, he's just a solid figure. Sometimes you don't have to do too much. Just stick to the script, make sure it looks good, and that's it. None of the extra stuff. And this guy right here, this 20 years cap, he deserves to be number 11 on my top 20 list. All right, number 10 on my list. I haven't brought anything from Star Wars Black Series in a long time, but I definitely had to get a couple of these guys in army build. This is the Dark Trooper from the Mandalorian series. And this is a beautiful, beautiful plain figure. Once again, sticking to the script, just keeping it plain, not doing too much. He looks like a black motorcycle, and he's just so shiny, and he looks great. He's awesome. He's phenomenal. I had to bring him a little closer so you can actually kind of get the features on him. But you see that he looks just like he looked in the show. My wife said he looks like a black motorcycle, and he does. He's a great looking figure, man. I don't really have too much to say about him, man. It's just, he's a great army builder. He's a little expensive. He's on the 30 plus side, but I brought mine for 20 bucks a piece because Target had a sale where buy 2 Disney action figures and get 1 free, and this falls under Disney Star Wars, so it ended up coming out to be 20 bucks a piece. I paid 60 bucks for 3 of them. And like I said, I've had fun playing with them. I can't knock them. If I could buy 10 of them, I would. So coming in at number 10, ironically, is Star Wars Black Series Dark Trooper. And like sleeper alert, number 9, the sleeper figure of the year. The figure that got down to 20 bucks when it was advertised at $32. It's this Morph Shredder. Now, I'll tell the backdrop story on my thoughts on it. I hate the colors. I always did. That's what made me not pick it up. But more and more I got to looking at it, and Hasbro had a sale back in May where if you spent like a certain amount of money, you get 60, 70, some crazy sale. They was really doing a dump sale. They were just trying to dump off a lot of product that they had. And I picked this guy up. And when I got him, I was like, wow, he has the same articulation as that Spider-Man, where he has the ab crunch swivel, then he has an ab crunch, then he has an abdominal swivel up there, and that just works wonders. When you get this guy in hand, and then plus he comes with a cloth cape. Very little does Hasbro do that, and right here looks appropriate. It looks so good. It looks like he has wire in his cape, but he does not. But when you get him in hand, you know you have a quality figure that you're dealing with. And like I said, I don't know too much about the Morph Shredder line or the series, you know, as far as mashing up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which I think is the stupidest shit in the world. But they did it. And from that, a diamond was produced. Number 9 on my top 20 list is Morph Shredder from the Power Rangers Lightning Collection line. On my top 20 list of 2022 is my boy King from Storm Collectibles. And you'll see the big boys are killing it this year. A couple of Storm Collectibles on here, and they're all big boys. I got him purposely standing up on one leg just to show you how great of a figure he is. He has these weird cowboy type boots on, but as you can see, he'll stand like that all night. I've had him stand like that all night. And King, Tekken is a game I played. When it comes to fighting games, Street Fighter is a game I grew up on. That's one of my favorites. And then of course that, Marvel vs. Capcom, which is the same thing. But Tekken I liked. I mess with Tekken. And King was one of the characters I used besides Law. And that's it. Law. Oh, and Yoshimitsu. But King was a person I used because just how unique he looked and his backdrop story. It was just always a lot of mystery around him. He is a man, but he wears this jaguar mask, and he's a lucha libre from Mexico. And it's just a lot of backdrop. I believe on one of the entrances in the arcade, when it comes on, the intro, he's like sitting at a desk, and he's like a glass of liquor, and he's conjuring in his office or whatnot, because I believe he's like a big time businessman. And then he gets a phone call, and then you show him go on the desk and grab that mask and leave. Because sometimes he wears a business suit. Sometimes he wears a tracksuit with that mask on, man. He's just a very iconic character, but Storm Collectibles nailed him down to the T. His skin complexion, his mask, just his outfit. I can't wait to see Tracksuit King. Figure, great sculpt, great articulation, and that's why he deserves to be number 8 on my top 20 list of 2022. Number 7 on my top 20 list of 2022 is my boy Zangief from Street Fighter Part 2 Turbo, which the game I was introduced to Street Fighter in back in 1993. That was a big time arcade game in the corner stores and in the arcade, and this is a splitting image of him. This is one of the figures that I wrestle with between King. Should King be 7? Should Zangief be 8? Be honest with you, your boy Kintaro was down here at number 9, but he got kicked all the way back because I truly believe that he's not as great as this Zangief and King from Storm Collectibles, which all 3 of those figures are made from the same company. But it shows you how much they were rocking this year, and Kintaro deserves to be on this top 20 list. Just not in the realm of Zangief and King. They did a really good job with these big boys, these big boy characters. The articulation on these guys are great. The sculpt is great. And if you know Storm Collectibles, there's no need to go through all the bells and whistles. You know what you're getting because that's what you paid for. You paid about 90, 100 bucks for this guy. It better be a 90, 100 buck figure. And this guy right here, if I could keep him forever, I would. He's a great representation of Zangief. That's why he deserves to be number 7 on my top 20 of 2022. All right, at number 6, we got the Back in Black Venom. And I know some people are probably saying who watches like, why the hell does he have that up here? It's an outdated buck. Well, not outdated buck, but it's a dated buck from 2-3 years ago. And I'll tell you why. Because it's still a damn good buck. And I still like this buck. And when I say buck, the body mold, better than the one that just came out in this 3-pack. And don't get it twisted, the one in the 3-pack is your more kind of quintessential Venom with the bigger, thicker body. But I like this movie Venom body. It is dope. And reason why I have this here, because I want to shed some light to it. And I think with toy collecting, we've gotten spoiled. There's so much good stuff in the past 3 or 4 years that came out, like every week, every month, that you just kind of throw some good shit back to the side. Like you don't even care about it no more. And this buck right here is a great Venom buck. And also, the wings are a lot better than what I thought. Like, these wings is dope. If you own the NECA Gargoyles Goliath, his wings are very brittle and plastic. Like, please, I hope to God nobody ever drops them because they're going to break. These wings right here are very durable. The paint on the inside looks good. It has some sculpt where it looks like it has veins on the inside of them. And it's just dope. And I just wanted to bring some light to this figure. It definitely deserves to be in a top 10 on somebody's list. Now, as far as Noel, he was cool. He just kind of like a little extra throw on. And then plus, I didn't pay as much as advertised price for this. I caught Amazon on a sale that had like 20% off. So I got both those guys for 55 bucks, which I think that's cool. Like I said, I could have did without Noel. I really don't care about him. What I do care about is his Venom. And this is my Venom right here. I actually have the other 3-pack Venom, and I haven't even opened it yet, but I already know what that body type is like, and it's cool. But I still don't think it's better than this. Like, this is dope. I wish he didn't have the toes on his feet. I wish it was more like a solid boot type foot. But man, I can't knock this. If anything, I would like to say I would like one that's almost kind of like more like a suit and doesn't have all these veins and stuff popping out of it. Like it's still the sculpt from the movie Venom. It's just a repaint, and that's all it is. But I would like a more smoother body like the newer one has on this buck. But number 6, I had to give it to him. This ain't no clout. This ain't nothing. I really feel very strongly about this figure, and the whole idea of it, the whole build of it is awesome. If they came out with something different with the same buck next year, he'd probably be in the top 10 again because it's just that good to me. And it's number 6 on my top 20 countdown. Back in Black Venom from the Noel and Venom 2. All right, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. At number 5, I have a figure that I thought would be number 1. But I got him out of package. He's a very, very solid figure. And I think he's awesome. I think I got my money's worth. But he just doesn't wow me enough to be number 1. And maybe it's the simplicity of him, just the black suit. But it's MAFEX Black Suit Secret Wars. It's supposed to be Secret Wars comic version, Black Suit Spider-Man. Awesome figure. Great head sculpt. Should I say he has 2 masks and 1 without the mask. And I think they put a lot of love into it, man. And no matter what, he would always be in the top 10 for me. I was just so bent before I even got to figure like, yeah, I know that's going to be my number 1. And it's not. It's not. And that's the beauty of action figure collecting. Once you get a toy in hand, once you deal with it, once you see how it performs, you never know what you're going to get. You might think you got a turd and got something beautiful. You might think you got a great figure and be like, I shouldn't even pay for this shit. And that's the way it is with me. But this Black Suit MAFEX Spider-Man is my number 5 on my list.
A lot of you guys probably had this buck before. This is my first MAFEX Spider-Man, and he doing all the MAFEX stuff that I like. And he moves well. I picked up 2 of them, and I don't regret picking up 2 of them. Stuff I really like, I get 2 of. And this guy was one of them, along with the Gambit and a couple other MAFEX figures that I got. But he's great. He's awesome. If you don't have him, I would pick him up. I wouldn't say he's a 2-up for everybody, but if you really want a great Spider-Man who's articulated and a lot of love and passion put into him, and you're looking for something just a little bit step up from the Marvel Legends Spider-Mans, but they're not bad, I would go with this MAFEX, whether it's the blue and red comic version or this black suit comic version. And he's number 5 on my top 20 list of 2020. All right. Y'all thought y'all wasn't gonna see no G.I. Joes up here? Come on now. And this isn't a biased pick here. I'm gonna tell you how I laid out this top 20 list. Like, I had 20 figures. I laid them all out on the counter with my wife. And I told my wife, I was like, which ones you like? What do you think about this? Or what do you think about this position I got? And some of these G.I. Joes that are about to come up, man, I had them deep back on the list. But she brought them up to the top. And that let me know right there that they're official. And number 4 on my list of top 20 action figures of 2022 is the B.A.T. Battle Android Trooper from G.I. Joe Classified. I mean, what a great figure, man. I mean, you cannot deny these things. Like, I like to ask people who don't even mess with action figures, like, what you think about this? And they'll get to going on about it and like, you know what, they're right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have an honest opinion. You have to have honesty with yourself. And if you're saying the G.I. Joe Classified line isn't killing it, I don't give a damn what you think about their team. Because a lot of you out there like to go at those people, and they're just as passionate about you as this. But guess what? They're not pencil pushers. And they don't make the rules. They might can bend them a little bit, but if they break them, then their ass gonna be out the door with a pink slip. You understand me? But as far as G.I. Joe, that team has really hit the nail on the target, man. They're wonderful, man. And I can tell the guy Lenny, he's really passionate about it. Now the girl, she might not really be into G.I. Joe, but she can tell that her team is passionate about what they're doing. So they're hitting their 3-pointers, no net, just splash straight in, man. And this B.A.T., which I don't remember the Battle Android Troopers. You gotta understand, I'm 39 years old. I was born in '83. I was born the same year G.I. Joe came out. So, if anything, I'm seeing like the later on the reruns, and I just didn't really remember the Battle Android Troopers like that. But just like back in the day, through the entertainment, now the toy is making me like the entertainment. You understand what I'm saying? The cartoon made you buy the toys. Now the toys making me get interested in what a B.A.T. is. And to be honest with you, like I love it. Don't really have no nostalgia connection to it because I don't really remember it like that. But I love this figure. It's dope. It's fire. And the G.I. Joe Classified team is killing it. And that's why the Battle Android 2, the B.A.T, the Cobra B.A.T, is number 4 on my top 20 of 2022 list. All right. We're getting down to the number 3 spot. And the number 3 spot on my top 20 list is the Cobra Alley Viper. I'm gonna tell you a little backdrop on this one too. I had this figure at number 20. And you probably say, damn, like, why would you have him at number 20 out of all places? Because I didn't want to be biased. And I'm gonna tell you why I didn't want to be biased. Because I had this figure as a child. I remember that blue and orange shield. That's something that's just very distinct, those colors. And I really love the Classified version. I really think the world of this figure. I think it's the best trooper they put out, me personally. Even though it doesn't have as much articulation as the Cobra Officer in the stomach, in the chest area. But I love it. I think it was a lot of love put into it. I think it's very unique. I love the way they put the brown hints on the boots, making it pop. I just think this figure is just straight up dope. And for 20 bucks, that Classified line is beating out a lot of imports. They kicking their ass right in the keister. And you cannot deny it. The reason he got up to number 3, because my wife went straight to him and that bat and said, I like these right here. She almost had them at number 1. But I knew there was some more figures that deserved that number 1 spot. But, like I said, this whole list, man, is an unbiased list. This whole list, every figure up here deserves to be in a top 20 or a top 10, no matter which order you put it in. Because they're good quality figures with a lot of love put into them. And it does not differ with this Cobra Alley Viper. He comes with tons of accessories. He has the flip up face mask like back in the day. And he's just nice. And like I said, hell, at one time these things were going for 16 bucks over the summer. Now me, I was so anxious, and oh yeah, hint hint, I got 25 of these I gotta unbox too in the future, just like I did the 50 Cobra Troopers. So just wait. But I was so anxious, I went out and just paid $25 for 25 of them, and I should have waited. But at the end of the day, like I say with any figure, I don't regret doing that because I really wanted them, and these guys are gonna stay around for a long time. I could have spent $25 on a lot of other stuff that would have went off in the air or went somewhere else. But these guys I plan on keeping around here. 3 is the Cobra Alley Viper. On my top 20 list of 2022 is your boy Outback from the Python Patrol Target exclusive. And is it Python Patrol? What? No, Tiger Force. Tiger Force Target exclusive. And I'm sorry, it's been a long day. But this guy is freaking phenomenal, and I'm gonna show you why he's freaking phenomenal and why he deserves the number 2 spot. As far as head sculpt wise, I believe he pretty much almost beats out Major Blood. Like, those two are going neck and neck, and I really think Outback has him. The way this guy hair and face is painted, he almost looks like a NECA figure. He looks like real. Like, to take a picture of him is almost kind of eerie. I got a MAFEX Dark Knight Batman, and he has like a regular Bruce Wayne head sculpt that's like an old man Bruce Wayne. And it's eerie to take pictures of that thing because just the way he has a menacing stare, the way he looks at you. And his Outback is about there. But guess what? That figure cost me $120 with that little Robin, which was nothing that it came with. And his Outback was $22. This Outback is something serious. Is Outback my favorite G.I. Joe? Hell no. I don't even really know too much about him. I mean, I remember him from back in the day. Don't get it twisted. But this figure is just phenomenal, man. And they did an awesome, awesome, awesome job with this guy. Of course, he comes with tons of accessories with any G.I. Joe, which all can fit on him. He has a rifle that I have packed away because after a while I have to put stuff in Ziploc bags, and you know, so it just doesn't get lost. But if I was being biased, I would put him at number 1. And last year I was being biased because I said I had the Cobra Trooper, just a regular old plain old Cobra Trooper at number 1, but it was a representation of the entire G.I. Joe classified line. And it looks like a lot more people are catching on. Like, this line is fire. It might be almost the best 6-inch line Hasbro ever produced. And it should be. It's an in-house product. So they should bust their ass on it. They should want to make great articulation. They should want to put paint, accessories, and do special things for their customers who actually love this line. But as far as the G.I. Joe classified line, is kicking ass left and right, just like how it did last year. And his Outback is at number 2 on my list. All right, coming in at number 1 on my list, which caught me by surprise, is MAFEX Dark Knight Superman. What a dope, dope, dope Superman. This is my best Superman that I got. And I still like the Mattel Dark Knight Superman. But this one right here, you can't deny it. Wired cape, which feels phenomenal. A lot of articulation. Paint looks good. When I first used to see the promo pics for him, I thought he looked too bulky, too big. But when you get him in hand, he's really not. He really doesn't dwarf your Marvel Legends figures. He really kind of fits right in. He's still a big buff Superman, but he fits right into those other 112 lines, because Superman's a big boy, but he doesn't dwarf anybody. You know what I'm saying? He has a nice solid size, and this is almost kind of going off more of a artistic style on how Frank Miller draws. So even when I took some pictures of him, and his fists look like big Popeye fists, but it just looks like that in pictures, man. When you actually get him in hand, he's not as big and kind of bulky. Almost kind of look lopsided in his promo pictures as it seems. And he's just a solid figure. I cannot deny him. I can't not deny him the number 1 spot. If I were to choose a toy out of all of these 20 figures I got, I would choose him. If somebody was like, hey, I'm going to get you a gift. What do you want? And even though I like the G.I. Joe classified, those are my dogs, I'm going to have them regardless. I still would take this MAFEX Superman, man. He is awesome. He's phenomenal. He's a true treat. If you don't have him, you really need to pick him up. Get him in hand. I don't think he should have toe articulation. Sometimes too much stuff is bad. They should have just gave him some nice, solid, planted feet, because what Superman does, he's an
unmovable object or unstoppable force. And to be an unmovable object, you need to have some nice solid feet to plan on, and the toe articulation kind of bends, so when you're trying to pose them, they kind of move. And I'd much rather have some solid feet, and I'd much rather have another head sculpt besides that burnt face from a kryptonite arrow when it exploded and the gas hit his face. You know, if you read the Dark Knight story, you know where that comes from. But they should have put another head sculpt in there. But other than that, he has plenty of hands. He has some flat hands for flying, which I like. In the promo pics, they put fisted hands for flying, which, why didn't you just put his hands out flat? And maybe he flew with his fist out in that comic book. But I think, as far as better promotion, it would have been better with the flat hands. But number one on my top 20 of 2022 list is the MAFEX Superman. And I'm going to throw something else in there, because I had these guys posed up around Christmas time for a long time, but these two look great together. I got the 20-year anniversary cap in the suit. If you take pictures and look and see, Superman is big, but he's not like, yo, he looks like the Incredible Hulk to him. I mean, of course he's Superman, he's big, but these guys, they look freaking awesome together. And that goes to show you how good that cap is, that 20 years cap. You can put him up beside a MAFEX and he still holds his own. And also, I gotta include this guy in. This was the original #1 figure, but as soon as the other Superman came in, it just blew it out. This black suit Superman, don't forget about this guy here. Real tough figure, real tough figure. But this other blue Superman, this Dark Knight Rises, I mean, he puts this guy to bed. So hey, enjoy yourself. Like I said, put a smile on your face when you talk about your action figures, man. And this your boy signing out from the Savage Land. Happy New Year.